World Wide Web operation. And this World Wide Web, we already seen the architecture. We know that it is in the format of a client server approach. Following steps explains how the web works. The user enters the URL of the web page in the address bar of the web browser. So the first step is user has to enter the address. The browser requests the domain name server for the IP address corresponding to that particular URL. So if the URL is tutorialpoints.com, so what happens is the browser requests the domain name server for the corresponding IP address of tutorialpoints.com. After receiving the IP address, browser sends the request for web page to the web server using HTTP protocol, which specifies the way the browser and web server communicates. The web server receives request After receiving the IP address, browser sends the request for web page to the web server using HTTP protocol, which specifies the way the browser and the web server communicates. Then the web server receives request using HTTP protocol and checks its search for the requested web page. If found, it returns it back to the web browser and closes the HTTP connection. Now the web browser receives the web page, it interprets it and displays the contents of web page in web browser's window. This is actually what we seen in the corresponding web's WWW architecture, World Wide Web architecture. So initially user enters a URL on the browser's address bar. Then whenever he press enters, this browser send it as this send the address as a request towards the domain name server for the IP address corresponding to that particular address. After receiving the IP address, browser sends the request for web page to the corresponding web server using the HTTP protocol. Then web server receives the request using this particular HTTP protocol and it searches for the corresponding requested web page. If it found, it returned back to the web browser as a HTTP response object, and finally it closes the connection. So the terminologies used in this World Wide Web architecture or its activity involves URL. URL means Uniform Resource Locator, which is used to identify resources or documents on the internet. We already seen the URL format. Then HTTP. HTTP is a request or response standard of client and server. Typically, an HTTP client initiates a request and resources can be accessed by HTTP are identified using Uniform Resource Identifiers. And HTML, that is Hypertext Markup Language, which is used to define the structure and appearance of web pages. So the main component inside this World Wide Web terminology is the web page. Each and every document that is available on the internet is termed as a web page. So it is a document available on World Wide Web. Web pages are stored on web server and can be viewed using a web browser. A web page can contain huge information including text, graphics, audio, video and hyperlinks. These hyperlinks are linked to other web pages. Collection of linked web pages on a web server is known as website. There is a unique URL associated with each web page. Static web page. It is a fixed document that is created and stored in server, and it is also known as flat or stationary web pages. User can only read the information but can do any modification or interact with the information. And the static web pages are created using only HTML, and this can be only used when the information is no more required to be modified. Only we can view that particular static web page. There may be no interaction, no no data accessing. Such type of things are not possible in static web page. Static web page remain constant every time. So this is a web browser request for a particular web page over the internet, and this request is forwarded to the web server. This web server is holding the static web pages, so that requested data is or requested web page is returned back as an HTML file over the internet towards the requested client. Now we can see another type of web page, that is dynamic web page. It shows different information at different point of time. Whatever that is not static is termed as dynamic. So in case of static web page, the content remains constant. But in case of dynamic web page, with respect to time or with respect to geographical location or some other features, the content changes. It is possible to change the portion of a web page without loading the entire web page, and it can be made possible using the Ajax technology. And this is our local computer which sends a request to example.com/login.php. This request is forwarded to the internet. So the web processor will processing that particular request, and a PHP interpreter is there which produces the corresponding relevant data towards that particular web page. And this web page, with the help of database, it will generate some data, and that generated data is expressed in the format of a web page and give back to the requested client. Depending upon the client, login.php. So depending upon the client request, here a login page is having user ID and password data that is forwarded to the corresponding web server. So what the web server do is, web server checks that particular data, and if that data is valid, it gives a page back to the, or if data is valid or invalid, it gives the corresponding result back to the requested client. This type of activity can be performed using dynamic web pages. That is data transfer. A user can interact with this type of dynamic web pages. So server-side dynamic web pages are created using server-side scripting. Server-side scripting parameters determine how to assemble a new web page, which also includes setting up of more client-side processing. And client-side dynamic web pages are created using client-side scripting such as JavaScript, and then passed into document object model. So dynamic web page can be created using both client-side scripting languages as well as server-side scripting languages. So server-side scripting parameters determine how we can assemble a web page, and dynamic scripting language helps the web page for client-side validation. So some of the major technologies associated with World Wide Web is scripting languages. Client-side scripting language as well as server-side scripting languages are available. So like programming languages, it allows us to write programs in terms of script, and these scripts are interpreted, not compiled, but executed line by line. So scripting languages are a methodology to create web pages, interactive and dynamic web pages. We are having client-side scripting as well as server-side scripting. Client-side scripting refers to programs that are executed on client side, contains instructions for browsers to be executed in response to certain user actions. Some examples for client-side scripting are JavaScript, Visual Basic Script, ActionScript. Then server-side scripting. So it acts as an interface for the client and also limit the user access the resources or web server. It can also collect users characteristics in order to customize responses. Example, Python, PHP, ASP, etc. So these are the scripting languages associated with World Wide Web. It can be categorized into two, client-side scripting and server-side scripting. Let us see the overview of HTTP. HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and it is mainly used for web application. and it is a web's application layer protocol, and this type of protocol is working on client server model. We know what is a client server architecture. Client is a particular system where always request some resources from the server. Server is the provider. Server will handle the request from the client and give back the corresponding response. So this HTTP transfer protocol is a protocol which is working in client server architecture. In case of this web application, client means a browser that requests, receives, displays web objects. Then server is the entity which sends objects in response to the client request. So this is the basic architecture of a client server. We are having a web server which is always providing resources to the requested clients. Then our clients in the web application architecture are the web browsers. So web browsers will send a particular data request towards the server, and this request is passed from the browser to the server as an HTTP request. So what the server do is server handle that particular request and give back the result as a response object of HTTP protocol. So here in this diagram we can see that a PC is running with Explorer and a Mac OS running the Navigator. So this PC is having Internet Explorer and this is having Navigator. This browser is requesting a data from the web server, and that request is passed from this Explorer to the server as an HTTP request. So server processes that particular request and give back the result as a HTTP response item. Here, Mac is also requesting some data from the web server, and that request is translated or it is transmitted to the server through HTTP request, and server will provide the result back to the navigator through our HTTP response object. This HTTP protocol connections are of two types: non-persistent HTTP and persistent HTTP. Non-persistent HTTP means in case of non-persistent, at most one object is sent over a TCP connection. So maximum one object can be transmitted over a transmission control protocol connection. And in case of persistent HTTP, we can send multiple objects through the single TCP connection. So in case of persistent HTTP, multiple objects can be sent over single TCP connection between the client and server. In case of non-persistent, we can send only one object over a particular connection, but in case of persistent HTTP, we can send multiple objects. We can see the overview of this HTTP protocol. So this HTTP protocol uses the TCP. TCP means Transmission Control Protocol. Client initiates TCP connection to server through port number 80. So this is actually, this client server architecture is a socket communication. So client initiates the Transmission Control Protocol connection to the server through the port 80. Server accepts TCP connection from the corresponding client. HTTP messages exchanged between the browser and the web server. So this HTTP messages like client requests are transformed in the format of HTTP messages, as well as the web server provides the results in the format of HTTP messages back to the client. Then the TCP connection is closed. And this hypertext transfer protocol is termed as a stateless protocol. That means server maintains no information about the past client request. So it is stateless means there will be no saving state for that particular protocol, and the server is not aware about what was the previous request. So protocols that maintain state are complex. Past history must be maintained. If server or client crashes, their view of state may be inconsistent or must be concise. And our HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol, so that server is not maintaining a list of previous client requests. In case of this HTTP protocol provides two types of messages, request message and response message. This is the format of a request message. HTTP request message is having like this. The request line should contain get or post method and some head commands like this. Get, some URL is there, get slash some directory slash page.html, then host is there, user agent is there, connection is there, accept language is there. These are some of the header lines in that particular request. And it also contains carriage return line, feed indicates the end of the corresponding message. So this is some of the general format of HTTP request message. Then method types HTTP / 1.1 get, post, head, and put method is there. It uploads file in entity body to path specified in URL field. Then some additional methods are there. Delete file specified in the URL field. Then trace, it echoes request message from server. Then option, return HTTP methods that the server supports. And connection, TCP/IP tunnel for the corresponding HTTP connection. And these are some of the methods which can be used with HTTP. This is the general format of an HTTP response message. In this particular message, the status line contains the protocol, status code, status phrase, then some header lines are there. Then after the header lines, data is appended. Data which corresponds to the requested HTML file is appended with this particular header lines. Now we can see what are the response status codes for HTTP. In first line in server client response message, some few sample codes are there. 200 means it is okay. Request succeeded. Requested object later in this particular message. 301, it moved permanently. Requested object moved, new location specified later in the corresponding message. Then 400, its code means that it is a bad request. Request message not understood by the server. 404, not found. Requested document not found on the server. 505, HTTP version not supported. These are some of the codes which is displayed on the client side, and this corresponding code represents the status of the corresponding request. If the 200 means the request is okay and a requested object will be in the coming messages. Then 301 means it is not available and it is moved to a new location. Then 400 means it is a bad request, that means this is not recognized by the web server. Likewise, 404 means it is not, the requested page is not found in the corresponding web server, like that. In this session, we are going to discuss about how we can create dynamic web pages. We already studied about how to implement HTML, how to create a web page by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and how we can make a database connectivity using a server-side programming, PHP. So we know how to create a dynamic web page. Dynamic web pages is first introduced in 1995 with the creation of JavaScript. So we know that JavaScript is a component which makes interactivity towards an HTML page. If a web page is dynamic, means it will make changes according to user input. So through this JavaScript, user can interact with the web pages. Multiple technologies of delivering interactive content are used. Two major categories of technologies which are used for creating dynamic web pages are server-side technology and client-side technology. So for creating dynamic web pages, we have to either use a server-side technology or we can use client-side technology. First, we see what is server-side. Web pages are produced on the fly by server-side programs, frequently based on parameters in the URL or from an HTML form. So here the browser sends an HTTP request. The server retrieves the requested file with the script. The server executes the script or program, which typically outputs an HTML web page. The server sends the HTML output to the client's browser. For example, if you are sending the address www.google.com, so this address will be sent as an HTTP request. The server, Google server, will retrieve the corresponding index page of this google.com. The server executes the script or program which typically outputs the HTML web page, and it will send back the HTML output to the client browser. Some of the server-side scripting languages include PHP, Perl, CallFusion, and in combination with a database like MySQL, Oracle, or PostgreSQL, anything. Now we can see the client side. Web pages containing content that can change without the actual HTML code being changed. So we are having some HTML code with us. Without changing any content in the actual HTML code, we can implement this client-side programming. Client-side dynamic content is generated on the client's computer, and JavaScript is one of the most popular client-side scripting language. Flash is an alternative approach to scripting language and pre-packages the scripted actions into a new file format. We can use JavaScript or Flash to make the client-side programming. We already know about JavaScript. It was first rolled out in 1995, named LiveScript, developed by Netscape. And most important JavaScript event is it's an early marriage with HTML. So JavaScript with HTML which provides interactivity. JavaScript and Java having a similarity in name, but both are entirely different. Created for non-programmers, so this JavaScript can be also it can be easily used by non-programmers, and it is usually type scripting language. There will be no particular logic behind, or if a person is not a programmer, he is also able to do this JavaScript coding. Some of the applications of JavaScript: form input value validation, then image rollover, some small calculations can be done, then pop-up windows can be generated, etc., etc. These are some of the common applications that can be created using JavaScript. So this is an example for a form validation script. Here we can see that the function is check form. If value of first field or is not something, then it will produces an alert box. There is a problem with the first field. Else if the value of next field is or is not something, there is a problem with that particular field that will be displayed. So this particular function is used for generating alert boxes if any problem with the content of the field occurs. Let us discuss some of the strengths of JavaScript. Its speed. JavaScript is fast to it makes coding faster. Code functions run immediately on the user's computer, and it is simple. It is very easy to learn and implement. Versatility. It plays nicely with other languages and can be inserted into any web page regardless of the file extension. So it can be used with any type of files. Then server load reduces the demand on site servers. Some other considerations: security. The code executes on user's computer and can be exploited for malicious purposes, and cross-platform issues are there. Some browsers do not support the language, or they don't support all aspects of the language. These are some of the limitations for this particular JavaScript. Sometimes some security problems can occur, and in some cases the browsers will not support the JavaScript coding. And as a conclusion, we know that web pages are interactive by using any type of scripting languages. Then mainly two types of scripting languages are there: server-side scripting and client-side scripting. These two scripts are used for making interactions for the web page. So need for interaction on web pages is diverse. No single technology is dominant for a specific dynamic feature. So we can use any number of technologies for making a web page dynamic. Based on the user's content and context, information architect can consider different technologies. Just because it can be done does not mean you have to do it.